Hi Terry. Evening Paul. Slow tonight. Kirsty and Michael, good evening. Hi Dave. Wait for a few more. Steve Parsons, good evening. Hi Gerd. Hi Simon. There we go. The comments paused again. Cuddy211, good evening. Hi Raymond. Hi Tracy. Hi Joseph. Hi Linda, Joan, Marcia. Hi Sarge, John Dunford, Michael Ripley, Leela. Oh, the comments are flying by now. See if I've missed anyone. I don't think I have. How are we all doing? Hi Christine, hi David. Evening Lynn. Yeah, the leg end, that's me. Let's have a look. Catching up. Comments just pause and then they just go a bit crazy. So we've got something a little bit different tonight for you. Going to make you feel old, which is always good because we are getting older, aren't we? Evening AJ, Ricky Rhubarb, Francis. Rachel, good evening. Right, we're at the end. I've managed to catch up with the comments that keep pausing and then going, okay, I caught up with them, now they've all gone crazy again. Keeps doing this, really annoying. I'm going to see if there's any updates because they just pause and then it goes mad. I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a unusual week. Been a bit of a strange one with the weather. Can't beat laying on the floor in the snow, can you? But we have no snow whatsoever now. The rain came along and took every bit of it away, which is great because I don't want snow for the weekend. Apparently it's going to be really windy and rain, but I can live with that. So yeah, all the snow has gone. Absolutely clear now. Evening Dean, hi Donna. So yeah, we are now snowless, which is good. Didn't last, but never does in Britain, does it? Rusty, good evening. Let's try and get to the bottom of the comments again. Kingfisher, good evening. Chris Grimes. Let's have a look. Oh, it's really annoying with the comments. Hi Devoter. Just came back from shopping. You've been stuck in for a week and you went out and you did not buy anything. Typical woman, that is. Sorry, Gerd, but that's just typical, that is. Let's have a look. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. Right, Corey, good evening. Jason, I think I've got everybody, but anyway, thank you all for joining. It's Friday again. It's cold. It's down to 1 degree where I am, but fortunately no snow. But if all that rain freezes, the roads are going to be pretty treacherous for anyone going out the weekend. Just make sure you take your time, allow some extra time because the roads are going to get slippy. I know what Steve's way, it's still rather snowy. He's been out and braved it today, but yes, it's a bit mad at the moment. John Clayton, good evening. So yes, if you're going out, we are going out to a place that we've not been now for probably about 18 months. We are meeting up with a few people, so that'll be interesting. We did do that area a long time ago, but glad to be getting back out there, have another go at it. So, Flying Panther, good evening. Sean Fraser, good evening. And these comments, I'll do my head in. Hi, Carl. So yes, back out. Back to an area we've been before, but let's hope it pays. Last time we did well in that area, so let's hope that it's going to be good. Right, tonight, like I said, I'm going to do something a little bit different now. Got something I'm going to show you now, because you might as well feel old, you know, because, as I said, we're all getting older, aren't we? So I'm going to show you some videos. You're going to like these, well, probably anyway. So I'll show you this one first. Let me show you this. Let me iPad connect.
Ever seen a driver blow in the bag? It's getting to be a far more familiar sight than it used to be. Over 2,000 drivers are breathalyzed every week.
Look at this chap. Had a marvelous time. Didn't think for 1 second. Now I'm not fit to drive. Then he makes a stupid mistake. Didn't think he'd ever be stopped and have to blow in the bag. We didn't consider ourselves a criminal. We'd only had a couple of drinks. But he'll lose his license. And unfortunately, his wife can't drive.
But he was one of the lucky ones. Last December, a quarter of all the drivers killed were known to be over the limit. Last year, there were nearly 40,000 convictions. Make sure you're not added to this year's total. Drinking and driving. It's just not worth it.
So that was a public information video from the 70s, as you can see. They were pretty bad back then. I mean, things have changed a lot now. We don't get all these public information videos that we used to get. And now, when I saw these, I thought, I've got to share some with you, because, you know, some of you are feeling old now. There we go. See, look, it's working. Whatever I wanted to do, it worked. Hi, John Dunford. Anyone else that's joined? Like I say, the comments have been flying by. Stephen Taylor, hello. But as you can see, public information, the Brits, this is what we had to put up with. We had to put up with these really unusual videos, which was meant to make a change our ways. Inspector Barlow. Oh, come on, Ray. You're showing your age now. So let's do another one. Let's have a look. I got done. Not proud of it. Yep, exactly. Many years ago, one of my cousins was killed by a drink driver, and they don't really do a lot about it. I mean, you know, you get reckless driving or causing death whilst reckless. It's actually a bigger sentence than being drunk and driving. So, yeah, not good. Good evening, Trevor. So let's do another one. Here we go.
When a drunken driver gets his license back,
How much?
his insurance can often double.
What, for third party?
Disqualified. Drinking and driving.
He'll find it expensive wherever he goes.
It's more than I paid for the motor.
And the real joke is, although he's allowed to drive, can he afford to?
Do you a favour? I'll buy the motor off you.
So there's another one, as you would have recognised the person in the adverts, was from the Bill. Can't think what his name was, I didn't even realise it was him, but it just shows you that a lot of emphasis for many years has been put on drinking and driving in this country, and some of the adverts we had, they've been pretty bad, to be honest with you, but this is what happens with public information videos. Right, bear with me. Let me find something a little bit different, because we don't want all the drunk driver ones. Blimey, Nick Cotton's in the next one. Right, hang on. But yeah, these are the sort of videos that we put up with all them years ago. Let's find another one. You're going to like some of these, because some of them are really bad. So let me do this one. Let's click on there. Alright, here's the next one then. Andrew Quinlan, there we go. I knew somebody would know.
And the difference between an ugly smash-up and just a nasty shake-up could be simply the seatbelt habit. So before any of us say, it can't happen to me, snap into that seatbelt habit. You know it makes sense.
So just imagine now, some of them vehicles that they were smashing up then, they'd be worth a fortune now. And I remember the time, I think it was 1985 before seatbelts became compulsory in the back of vehicles. But for many years it wasn't a problem, but obviously in 1985 they made it law for rear seatbelts to be fitted in the back of cars. And I think it was probably then, that's when they made it law to wear seatbelts. So I'm sure a few of you on here have got the seatbelt fine before. One thing I've never had, got away with it to be honest with you, but it is a habit, and exactly what they were trying to put there. Wear your seatbelt, a simple thing, but it can save your life. One man, one magnet, real deal. Mary, good evening. Didn't have to wear seatbelts when I was young. Donna, don't say that, you're making yourself sound old. Clunk click every trip, that is it. How you couldn't see that? I knew people would know who it was. Alright, let's do another one. Let's see how bad the next one is. Bear with me.
If you imagine this is your car, then this is a motorcycle. Now, when you drive up to a main road, it's easy to see other cars. But because a motorcycle is a third of the width of a car, he's very hard to see. But he's dead easy to hurt. Nasty. And that's why, at junctions, I'm asking you to give a second thought for bikes. Stop. Think once for cars. Hold it. Then think again for bikes. If you want to avoid this, think once. Think twice. Think bike.
And there we go, that's another one. You see that a lot of these are road ones. We'll get away from the road ones in a minute, as you see. Some real classic motors there again. I feel sorry for the bloke that had to do the advert, because that looked like it was going to hurt. I won't drive unless everyone is belted up. I bet that's what you say to Paul, isn't it? Belt up. We know, Terry, we know. See, look, it's all coming back to you because you're all remembering the slogans as well. Right, let's have a look. Bear with me. Right, let's go for another one then. Let's go for another one, just so you can see. And to think that these were on all the time, and we used to watch them.
Diamonds are for danger. The diamond sign means a dangerous load. Look out for the diamond sign. They all mean danger. If there's an accident, when you see the diamond sign, keep away. Go to the nearest phone and dial 999. There might be an explosion or fumes that could kill you. Diamonds are for danger. Keep away.
And that was so convenient, having a phone box right next to where it happened. I mean, you couldn't get better than that, could you? Some serious perms going on there as well. So it just shows you things have changed a little bit. Alright, hang on, let's go for another one. So yeah, things have changed a lot since then, because women have got decent haircuts, they're dressing more respectably, and they've got mobile phones, so it just shows you now how much easier it is to report them. Right, here we go. Let's go for the next one. Let's see what the next one is.
That's the key. Just takes off. She doesn't bother with the crossing. We've been told at school not to go between parked cars, but to use the crossings. And my mum says that's quite right when you're young. At home there's all that sit up and eat up, otherwise you won't grow up to be big and strong and healthy. And outside, where there are cars and lorries and buses wagging past, my mum should be wearing L-plates crossing the road. Good job she doesn't drive. My dad does, and he's very careful, but he doesn't always practice what he preaches. Me and him had been up in the park Sunday morning. Then he remembered we hadn't bought the car. I started walking to the subway, and he tells me to make us late for our dinner. It's very funny how grown-ups can always be right, even when they're wrong. Now, if anybody had tried that when he'd been driving, he'd have done his nuts. The best, though, was when I was with Mum. Me and her were on our way home after getting me more shoes. Anyway, we have to cross the road, and she didn't even see the car coming. She was about to tell the driver what she thought about him, and he was at the car to do the same. And you know who he was? My dad! In our new car. We could have all finished up as mincemeat. And you tell me how they would have explained that to my nan.
So, as you can see, some very classic cars there. I mean, the bloke did really well, not killing them with a Mark 1 Escort with drum brakes. Not flipping good, that. I think they did really well. What year was this? Can't remember. These are from the 70s, so these are like the unusual ones. Definitely the unusual ones. Great parenting, yeah, exactly. But you don't get that now because kids don't go out; they just stay at home. So, well, and some of the cars in there was an Austin Maxi. We had a Cortina. We had a Mark 1 Escort. That Rover P6. You see, all them cars now, absolute classics because, well, most of them haven't survived now, have they? They're rotted away because one thing cars did years ago, they rotted. Engine-wise, they lasted. Bodywork, they rotted. Now it's engines fail, bodywork's min. You see nice, neat cars in the scrapyard because people can't afford to fix them because this is how things have changed now. Things have really changed. So, right, let's do another one. I don't even know what this one is, so let me show you this one.
Love, as if I haven't got enough to do. All these blooming doors to cope with. Like getting to Checkpoint Charlie round these corridors.
You want to wedge 'em open, Ada. Hang about.
I've got one here, haven't I? There you go.
Oh, Terry, you are a good boy. That's better. I'll remember you in my will. But
Old Ada's cracking on about them fire doors again. They ought to leave 'em open all the time. It's stupid, isn't it? You coming in?
If there should be a fire where you work, the quickest way to make it spread is to wedge open a fire door. Fire doors prevent fire spreading, and they're a barrier against suffocating fumes and smoke, giving you enough time to escape to safety. Never wedge open a fire door, never lock them shut. Fire doors can save lives. Yours may be.
And there we go, Rusty. There's a redhead for you, you see. About the same age as well. But this just shows you now that never wedge a fire door open. Or don't smoke your cigar when you're sitting in your office. That's probably another way of avoiding it. But these are all the adverts. These are all the sort of things that they tried to drum into us to tell us what was wrong and what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Patsy Rowland's, that's the one, yes. Quite common in the Carry On films back in the 60s. So, yeah, right. Okay, so we've done a few of them. Let me pick something else because you're going to like the next one. Hang on. Some of you will definitely remember these. Oh, hang on. Right, bear with me. Right, now we're going to go for some more safety. And these, everybody remembers these ones.
Hi there. Uh-oh, this looks dangerous. Will they see that car? Think I better have a word with those two. That wasn't very...
Bear with me, I don't know what happened there. It's playing on here, but it's just not playing on there, so bear with me 1 minute. Let's try that again. for some reason it stopped working. It did this before. This is really annoying when it does this, but let's try again. Right, not sure what's going on, but that's sort of buggered it up now. But Paul said it'd be that one, did he? The Green Cross Code Man. Yeah, well, we're not going to get any more of the Green Cross Code Man because for some reason it doesn't want to play. We'll try it this side. Let's try it once more. No, it's going to have a moment, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, you're not going to get to see the Green Cross Code Man. Although, that was the one I was trying to do. So, yes, public information, the Green Cross Code Man. Always remember, stop, look and listen before you cross the road. They were terrible adverts. And I've got some really good ones lined up as well. I won't show that one. Let's try a different one and see whether or not... See if that actually works. Hang on, bear with me. Right, let's try this one here and see if it works, because if not, then that's my evening completely ruined because we can't do it. I don't know. It's all gone wrong again. So let me see. Let me see if I can do it another way. See if I can put them on my phone. Working absolutely fine, and now it's decided it's going to stop. So. With me 1 second. Right, okay, well that one didn't work either because I've just plugged my phone in. It tells me I need to update my phone to connect to my flipping computer. So that's it, we're buggered, don't know what to do now. Always happens, always flipping happens. But anyway, let's have a look at some of the comments because they've been flying by and I haven't been looking at. I do apologise. Let's have a look. So Darth Vader, that's the one. So good evening everyone that's joined. I can see a few new ones. I've got to try and remember who I've said hello to. Welsh Dragons, good evening. Dean, I can't remember whether I said hello to you. And whoever did the super chat earlier, I did see it come up on the video playing. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Needs those public information films now because some people need it. You're right there. That's the thing. They are so old, so old-fashioned, but public information videos, they wouldn't go far wrong, would they? Because unfortunately now the one thing that kids don't get taught is common sense. And although they were tacky and horrible adverts, they just basically are common sense, and that's what people need now. Look, maybe it's time for magnet fishing video. For some reason it won't connect to anything. That's the flipping trouble. But it was doing fine. I thought I'd sorted it because I checked it earlier and it was all fine. It was all coming through okay. But now yeah, it is a pain. You're definitely right. Secrets of the Thames, I don't remember seeing you. Good evening, Towpath Dippers. But yes, there we go. So public information, common sense, one thing that people really struggle with nowadays, obviously with the state of the roads now and the way people drive is just amazes me. The UK, when a drop of snow comes, even rain, it brings it to a total standstill, and it is when the roads are clear, absolute madness. Common sense should be called when the roads are clear, absolute madness. Common sense should be called rare sense, because yeah, exactly, it's something now that's just not taught to people. People are shielded from it. All the schools shield people from it, and nobody gets to learn anymore, do they? They'll teach them about plants and things like that, but they won't teach them about debt management, mortgages, things that actually are going to be useful in life, because I'm sure not a lot of people want to dissect a leaf and learn about it. I don't really get it. Tall Paul, good evening. So Charlie, cat advert. I was going to do them as well, but unfortunately it's not playing ball. So what I'll do, I'm going to restart my iPad, and what we'll do, we can give it a go. We can see if it does it again. So bear with me. Let's just restart that, and then we'll give it a go, see if we can get the videos back, because unfortunately it's all gone tits up, hasn't it? Right, let's have a look then. Let's have a look at there. Cobra drives right in the middle. Very expected to pass. Shove you in the bushes. Yeah, it has got bad now. It really has got bad. The roads are chock-a-block. They're busier than ever, and the state of driving is getting worse and worse. Quite often on a Sunday morning, when I'm driving to go fishing, I'm on a motorway, and there's the car in the outside lane doing 60 mile an hour on a motorway, and they just will not move over, and you're like, really? You know, there's two empty lanes. You've got an inside lane, a middle lane and the out lane, but no, they have to sit in it at 60 mile an hour. And then when you get fed up with it after 2 or 3 miles and you pass them, they look at you to say, you're in the wrong. Well, you are in the wrong. 60 mile an hour on a motorway in the right hand lane is definitely wrong. Well, thank you very much, Gerd. We're all amazing to you. You really need to get out more, really do. Can't remember when that was. Well, that's the other thing, CCTV, massive thing in this country. We've got more CCTV cameras in the UK than New York has. But we can't catch criminals, because in the UK, video evidence, because video footage cannot be used as actual evidence. It can be shown, but it's not classed as actual evidence. So I don't see the point of having hundreds of thousands of cameras around if you cannot use them for anything useful. But that is what it is now. If common sense was that common, everyone would have it. You're definitely right there. So yeah, CCTV in the UK cannot be used as actual evidence. If somebody's clearly seen robbing someone on CCTV, if they can deny it, and that's the way it is. So even though you look right at the camera like that, you can still get away with it, because you could say it's not you. Absolute joke. Us old folks are still shocked. Skip for snow, close the schools here, and there we go. So you're not old devoted, but you know what I'm saying. Things have changed. I mean, the school's shut. So easy now. It doesn't take much to shut a school. And I used to walk a mile a day in the snow and didn't think anything of it. Didn't think it was a problem. Just did it. But it doesn't happen now. Kids get drove to school all the time because they can't walk a mile, can they? And this is the thing. That it's all made so easy for them now, and this is the problem. I'm not being a horrible parent. I'm just saying that kids need to take a bit more responsibility. They need to do a bit more themselves, because they have got it very easy. And the worst thing is these things. These things aren't as bad. We're always doing it. I took my son to the dentist this morning. Everybody in the waiting room was sitting there looking at a phone. People don't talk anymore. People don't socialise. No social skills. Kids don't go out. No street sense. Lots of things have changed so much. So yeah, I told you it's a night to make you feel old, because it's making me feel old. We're all still interactive. I know, it's just annoying, you know, when you get sneak all lined up and then it all goes horribly wrong. People no longer talk drive, they just talk to pass the test. I've never really looked at it that way, actually, but you're sort of right. And then you got run off by a double-decker bus right in the middle of the road on a blind bend. Yep, even buses and lorries. I mean, I wouldn't want to drive a lorry around all the time. I mean, I think they're doing an amazing job, but there's that certain few that really should go back for a bit of training. Sean's mentioned little Sophie, good evening. Well, we might as well speed up the motorway. Well, that's it. Well, they say things like that, don't they? That, you know, the motorway speed in the UK is too slow. But the state of some people's driving, it really is. If you make it quicker, they're just going to do it just as bad. Just as bad. I mean, I've followed cars at 30 mile an hour on a motorway, and I believe there is a minimum speed on a motorway as well. So, you know, people don't seem to get caught when they should. But as someone should put there, motoring fines. The easiest way to penalise the British public is to hit the motorists, and that's the one thing they always do. Always hit the motorists, because they know we can't do without our cars. They know that we've got to actually have them. Oh, bear with me. I'm just going to see if this will work now. They know that we need our cars, same with the price of fuel. They know that we're going to buy that, so we're not going to benefit. Hang on a minute, get the right one. Oh, no, not my content. Let's get the right button. Hang on, I need to turn it that way. There we go. I'll drive out across 2 minute ones. Let's go down a hill loaded with magic fishes, scrap people just put the junction and don't accelerate. I bet your brakes aren't that wonderful either, are they? Right, here we go. Let's give it a try. Is it going to work? Let's see.
Word with those two. Hi there. Uh-oh, this looks dangerous. Will they see that car? Think I better have a word with those two. That wasn't very clever, was it? If you'd been looking and listening all the way across, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, it sort of worked, didn't it, for a moment? But it didn't continue, so unfortunately, it's not going to happen. You just have to listen to me waffle on, and I need to work out why it's all going wrong. It's probably because I need to update my iPad. Hang on, let's see. No, we got the black screen again. Yeah, what's this button? Hang on, I found a button. I haven't seen this one before. No, it ain't going to work, unfortunately. So no, stuck with me. Right, let's get back to some of these comments. Hi Marie, hi Mr. Perry. Winter tyres, black and round. Don't go winter tyres personally, they're too noisy. And to be honest, we don't have a bad enough winter to justify spending the money. Be grateful you don't drive in Russia. I know, but at least they can drive in the snow, Lynn. At least they can actually get in the car and actually do something. But so many people are absolutely terrified of driving in snow. It's like anything. Take your time. Maybe they should bring in a bit of skid pan driving into the driving test, just so people can get a feel for it. I mean, rear-wheel drive cars are so much more fun than front-wheel drive cars in the snow. Not that I know, but many years ago, yeah, I always had rear-wheel drive cars, and everything was so much more fun in a rear-wheel drive car. I remember going round a bend into a high street once, and the back end of the car sort of slid round, and I stopped about 2 inches from the pet shop window. The problem is, because the back swung round, I couldn't get out. I was sort of stuck because there was a car parked behind me, and it was like an 80-point turn to actually go back and forward a couple of inches at a time so I could actually get out. Caused a bit of a traffic jam, but that's the sort of fun you had in the 80s. Then my mate did exactly the same in Chavan, but unfortunately a police officer was watching him and he got driving that due care and attention because he saw him do it. So yeah, I definitely got lucky. So I've had a few lucky escapes in my time. So true about phones, have you been to dinner or have you taken a look in that? Exactly. People go out, families go out for a meal and they sit there on the phones. I noticed that some restaurants now have introduced a lockbox where you put your phones in it. If nobody touches the phone during the meal, you will actually get a discount on your meal to try and discourage people from sitting there and playing them on all the time. And final year before I retired, I wrote 173 citations, 165 traffic accidents. Only worked at patrol, not traffic. Flipping hell, Cliff. You've been a busy man, you have. Were you on commission? Right, let's have a look. It's illegal to slow and it's illegal to drive too fast. There we go. So some people really need to be fined for their driving, to be honest with you. Just want money out of us for everything. Yeah, and the motorist is the one that always gets it, because they know we can't do without the cars. And they've got this crazy idea in Oxford where you've been put in zones and you can't go from one zone to another, and you can only leave your zone 100 times a year. How does that work? You know, you sort of got a radius of about 4 miles that you're allowed to stay in, and you're not allowed to leave it. Because if you go out more than 100 times, the ANPR cameras will pick you up and you'll actually get fined for leaving your zone. So basically you're being locked in a prison. You've been told you've got to stay in your home. You've got to literally use the local shop. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Whoever came up with that crazy idea, I will never know. But it's something they're trialling in Oxford. I mean, there's been a lot of criminal damage on the post. People have been going mad about it. People cover their number plates up so the ANPR cameras don't catch them. Another crazy idea which is being trialled, and if they believe it works, it will be rolled out across other counties. So I don't know what it's coming to now. It really, really is getting bad, because they don't want you to go anywhere either. Never should close down the local police stations. That is a good point as well, because you never see the police walking around the small towns now. I mean, nearly every town had a police station and they've all been closed down. And then you move to the bigger ones. You've got all the local ones around by me. You've got the bigger one that's only open 10 till 4. So you can't visit a police station without prior appointment. Then you've got the massive ones. There's one in Kettering, a massive one up on the main road by Corby. You can't go visit there. They don't have a reception counter, but it's a massive multi-million-pound building, but you can't go there. So you have to ring them on the phone. And what happens then? You go on 101 and you stand there for 40 minutes waiting for them to answer. So there we go. It's budget on the 15th of March. Drivers, look out. There we go. Yet again, they are increasing the fuel there, but they're going to raise fuel tax. They reckon it'll put on average of 12 pence a litre. So don't be fooled by the prices coming down on the fuel. It's only so you think they're doing something good for you. They're going to be putting 12 pence a litre on soon because they're increasing fuel tax. So we're going to get hit again. So that will put fuel back into the 170s for diesel. So whichever way you look at it, when things start dropping, you know it's going to go up again, and that's exactly what they're doing. 12 pence a litre. I spend on average up to £200 a week on fuel. Well, that's going to get a 12% increase. So that's just more work you have to do now to compensate the fact that our government is robbing us. COVID absolutely crippled our economy, and they lent all this money to people. They give bounce back loans. They were giving loans out to people who were taking the 150 grand and then declaring themselves bankrupt. Never paid the money back. But we're all going to pay it back. I worked through COVID, as lots of you on here worked through COVID. You're going to be paying back for the ones that didn't work through COVID, because that's the way it works, unfortunately. You know, I don't see why we should pay more taxes. Why should we pay more interest? Because we didn't get it. I had no help of the government whatsoever through COVID. Absolutely nothing. But I'm still expected to pay more. Think about it. Whatever happens, people that work will be the ones that pay for it. Mind that child. Oh, I see. Look, Nigel, I knew it'd be your era. Just I can't make it work, unfortunately. Imagine being run over by an Allegro. Well, it'd do well to get up speed, wouldn't it, an Allegro? Terrible cars, terrible cars. But actually quite a collector's piece now. They've become, there is actually a owners group, the Allegro Owners Club, and they really are into them. And I mean, parts of them are worth lots of money now. The cars were awful. They really were awful. If you ever drove one, sort of like driving a stretched Hillman Imp, if you drove one of them. That's what they were like as well. So look, same use and not teaching our kids things they need to know. Exactly. The trouble is with most curriculums everywhere that they're so out of date. They're so out of date now, but nobody wants to update them. I was talking to Steve and he was saying the books in the schools have to be censored every year to go through them just in case they might offend somebody. Absolute madness that, you know, classic books are being rewritten because of words in there. They're not racist, they're not sexist, they're not discriminating anyone, but it's a colour, and apparently that's a problem. And the kids won't know any different, unfortunately, because this is what they're being brought into, this is the time, this is what it's like now, so it's getting difficult. Plugs will finish tomorrow. We'll post them on Tuesday. Thank you very much, Tracy. Looking forward to seeing them. Let's have a look. Come to Colorado. I'll show you snow. Yeah, but you're mad, Sarge, because you actually go out in a tent when it's snowing. Where us Brits, you know, when it's snowing, we start to stay in, and I would say put the heating on, but even that's too expensive now. Let's have a look. We haven't had proper snow since the 80s. I completely agree with you. That's when we used to get snow drifts and everything back then. Hi, Nick. Let's have a look. 6 inches of snow. 6 inches of snow in Britain is a lot, and believe me, people can't drive in half an inch of snow. So, you know, with 6 inches, I think they're done for. 7.5, totally sideways. Well, it was the 80s, Nigel. That's what we did back then. I rode a motorbike in Guildford, Surrey, Hemsby, and Kent, snowing back in 1987. I did find when I had a motorbike, the snow was interesting because it wore your shoes out pretty quick. Because you're basically going along with your feet down. 96, 97 had a good snow, sure. I don't remember a good snow. I know when I was at school, we used to get proper snow then. And that was a long time ago when I was at school. A couple of times in the early 2000s. That weren't proper snow, Dave. That weren't, no. Don't text and drive. Exactly. It is so off-putting. And this is the thing with the phones, you see. Before text, you only had a phone. People had to ring you. And back then, there were no laws about it. People drove along with a phone. There was no laws, nothing to stop you. Back in the days of the CB, you know, you'd be quite happily chatting away on them. And you'd be talking to someone, and before you remember, you think, hang on, I wanted to turn off half a mile ago because it is distracting. Richard Ferris, good evening. You think the world's gone crazy? Oh no, the world's gone crazy. Definitely the world has gone. People just clone number plates these days. It's true. Anything to beat an ANPR camera. Because that's another thing with these parking places, you know, the parking places with the ANPR cameras. Well, if you cover your number plate up on the way in and cover your number plate on the way out, they don't get you, do they? And nobody ever checks in the car parks because they're only on the entrance and exits. Not that I'm condoning it, but that's what they do. I see people around by us doing it. They'll stop, get out, cover the number plate up and drive in. Just so they don't have to pay. Because parking prices, there we go, another one. Extortionate prices. When we've been out fishing, I think we paid £35 to park in Oxford. We went to Windsor last year. That was £18. You know, some places are cheap, other places £1.52 for diesel. Oh, you lucky sod. 164.7 is the cheapest I'm finding it. My boss does need to pay better, Mary. I keep telling him that, but he's a stubborn git and he won't give me anything. I worked through COVID. 138? Petrol, not diesel. Let's have a look. I worked through COVID. 171 in Kent. Lost some business due to COVID. All aggro, yeah. They definitely earned that name, Donna. You can, Mary, but not for personal use, only for business use. And unfortunately, fishing is not business, it's personal. I'd love the Ford Sierra. We was looking at one the other night, we was chatting to the others, and we found a Scorpio Granada. So yeah, a Cosworth Granada. Quite unusual cars in the day. I remember going out in one and I was thinking it's not bad. I mean, it's a really old comfy bus. That was an auto though. They did a few manual ones. The manual ones were far better. I worked for Kirby and took furlough. It would have been about £20 a week worse off. That was an incentive for me to work. Well, that's a very good attitude to have, to be honest with you. I'm trying to catch up with these comments. Loads of them. 11 inches near Snowdonia. 1978, we had the worst blizzard. I don't really remember it, Mary. I was very young back then. Put them on VHS. Do you remember them? Do you remember the VHS? VHS, Betamax, V2000 from Philips, Also the N1500, which was the one from the early 70s with the square cassettes. So yeah, I do remember them. Unfortunately, coming from a family where my dad was in the electronics game, and we had our first video in 1977. They were very new then. He got the pleasure of testing it for work, but they were going to sell them, so they sent him home with one. I mean, it took most of the family to press the play button because they were big old chunky piano keys back then. But he would change it every few months, you know, and we used to have weird things like the TVs with the clickers for the remote control. Now you press a button and change channel. On those days you had to press a button and it clicked and the channels went up because you only had 6 on the TV. Or you clap your hands and it also changed channel. So yeah, things do happen, do change a lot. I remember we had a TV with a printer in it where you actually took a screenshot of the TV thing and pressed a button and it printed a picture out of the TV screen. Never really got the concept of it. I thought it was a complete waste of time and money, but someone came out with it. A TV with a printer in it. Let's have a look. Gas here 159. I know I'm the boss, Mary. That's what I mean. I'm a stubborn old git. 151.9. Gosh, around my way then it's too flipping expensive, to be honest with you. It's a lot cheaper around the country. And that's another thing that doesn't make sense. Why is it that, say, Tesco, Asda, Morrison, Sainsbury's, why is it not the same around the UK? Why is it dearer in some places but not other? It's mad. You know, they're the same store. The food's the same price. Why is the fuel not the same price? As I've noticed, the supermarkets are not subsidising the fuel like they used to. I can actually get BP or Shell cheaper than I can Asda now. So the supermarkets, where they used to do the cheap fuel to draw people in, they're not doing it anymore because they definitely aren't the cheapest places around. You can actually get fuel far cheaper now from proper prime sites. ESSA as well. All the brand names now have come right down, and I think that in most places the premium brands are actually cheaper now. VHS, but Betamax had better quality. It did, but the differences between Betamax and VHS, unfortunately because of this silly thing that I did when I was younger, a Betamax tape would use 8 meters of tape per minute, where a VHS would only use 6. So that the reason it had the better quality is because it had more than magnetic tape to actually put the material onto, so that's why Betamax was always better quality. And it's actually one of the video recorders you can still buy. Sony make one. They're about £2,500, but they're just used for professional use now. But yeah, if you actually took a Betamax part when it was in there, because I used to repair them, you'd actually watch the tape, and the amount of tape that goes inside the machine when it's actually playing was amazing, and it would do 8 meters per minute, and that's why Betamax are better quality. Bit of useless information. I'm only 30 years too late as well, but I just thought I'd mention it. Actually, probably 40 years, but we'll stop there. Making you old. Well, everyone needs to feel old. Still have a Sony Betamax video recorder. You can make good money with that, Johnny. You get people who've got things on there that they recorded and they want it transferring over. 8mm, yes, there was VHS-C. 8mm, Sony 8mm. I used to have a Sony 8mm camera. That was in the 80s as well. That was quite advanced for the day. But yeah, the old video cameras. Rented a video in the early 80s. Mum and Dad rented a colour TV from Radio Rentals. Yes, we had all those old rental shops. Radio Rentals, Rumbelows. The Co-op, they were big into the rental as well, because my dad worked for them for about 35 years of his life. He was on the TV repair side, and that's the one thing I started off doing when I was really young, to be honest with you. I used to go out with my dad in the school holidays. Those were the days where the Co-op, everybody knew the Co-op repairman because they went round the houses and fixed things, and that's the way it was back then. First VHS from Easter. Oh. Live stream now, so what could be next? Well, this is it, what could be next? I do have a video premiering tomorrow at 9 o'clock. That will be on, yes, I say 9 o'clock tomorrow night. We have the second part of, can't remember where we were. Oh, Warwick, yes, it's the second part of that one. So, yeah, don't forget that's on tomorrow. Video 2000, you could flip the tape over. You could, yes, the tapes were 4 hours. You could get the 4 hours per side, and you actually turn the tape over and use the other side, just like an audio cassette. So you could get 8 hours per tape. Now they did, in the latter days of it, Philips actually brought out a long play version. Obviously the quality got less, but you could get 16 hours on one tape. See a lot, I'm just getting really old now. Cost of living in different areas. Don't care, Terry, it should be the same wherever we are. Dad will rent for the Christmas holidays. So come on then, actually 50p in the back of the TV to rent it. I don't actually remember them, but I have heard the stories about them. Mum and Dad still have loads of videos, and we had beta. Amiga, was it the Amiga 500 or the 2000, Paul? My brother's very much into his retro computers, and I mean, he had Amigas when they came out, and he used to love the Amiga, because they used to do that program on a Saturday morning. I think it was, I don't know, this chart show or the music show on ITV, and all the graphics and everything was run with a Commodore Amiga. See, look, I'm full of useless information. Let's have a look. So, still have our VHF. That's true, Marie. Anything with less in it, you pay more for nowadays. And some of the prices of like the gluten-free food and that, I'm looking at in Tesco's last time in there, absolutely unbelievable. The price of that is amazing. First mobile phone from Tandy. Cool, flipping out. Tandy. And then it was Maplin. That's it. But we don't have anything like that now. Right, I'm going to shoot down to the bottom of the comments. Hi FK, if I've missed anyone else I do apologise, but thank you all so much for joining. I remember the test card. The test card became very famous. Now, more useless information time. Now, the test card was put there purely for TV service engineers. It was actually put up there so they could set up the TVs and everything. The test card was put there if they had to do the setting up of the focus and things like that. The crosshatch pattern in the background was done for that. So they used to run that for the TV service engineers for when they used to service the TVs. Now, I think it went through about 6 or 7 generations, the test card did, and there's actually a convention, a TV convention, where they all go there and they sit and watch that test card, and then they move on to the next one so they can talk about it. Very anarchy. It's just I do know somebody that actually went to one of them conventions and sat there and stared at a test card. Can't think what its name is. There's a proper name for it, so really bad. So yeah, the test card was put there purely for TV service engineers because it saved them having a crosshatch pattern generator, which when I was in the TV game we had them because they were a lot cheaper then. So Commodore 64 with the Melody Maker, flipping out. Right. Our life revolves around phones now. I think that's the trouble, isn't it? Look at these, Commodore 64, still functional after all these years. I have got a brand new sealed copy of Mrs. Pac-Man for the Atari 2600. I had about 30 of them, and I sold most of them at car boot sale, but I still have one brand new sealed Mrs. Pac-Man for the Atari 2600. I don't know why I've kept it, to be honest with you. It's just one of those things that I thought, you never know, it might be worth something in years to come. And to be honest with you, that's the way it's getting now. Retro gaming is making good money. Ooh, flipping out. So, as we're talking about old video, what's the first video that you rented? Film. Come on, see. Or what was the first film you actually hired or bought and watched? I'm going to see now. Let's see what sort of thing that people actually were the first video you watched on VHS. Right, here we go. Tubes. My dad used to say with tubes, if you don't light up, boy, change it. And that's how they fixed them. Simple as that. Love the Atari original Pitfall. I know, that's when games were simple as well. Still have a PS. Yeah, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 now. Right, here we go then. Blockbuster Video, yes, they were the ones. See, a lot of people, I'm surprised, have still got their old Commodores. Still have the parts to fix 8 tracks, dear, oh dear. can't remember that far back. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. Goonies, I think. You were in it, weren't you, Dave? It's all right, Dave's my stalker. And Dave, you better not stalk me this weekend. I need a weekend off for that. You follow me around everywhere. Pirates of Penzance. Hard line. And remember the 12-inch laser display. Yes, I do remember the laser displayer. I used to fix them as well. Jaws, Goonies, porn, typical Sarge, typical. Quadrophenia. That had Dave Quinnan in it as well. Yeah, of course you can remember that back that far. I remember the first film I watched on there. Nightmare on Elm Street. The Richard A. Brad one. Chinese Dragon Kung Fu film. Cinderella and the Cinnamon Town. First film I actually watched, believe it or not, back in 1977 was Star Wars. That was the first film that we actually had, because when my dad got the car, they started renting videos out. So over Christmas we had Star Wars, Grease. I can't think what the other one was. I can't remember that one. It weren't very good. That's why I can't remember it, to be honest with you. Don't remember the video, but we rented a VHS movie to watch them. Commando. Can't remember my first video. Look, 12-inch disc only played one side. That's it. And then they brought out them posh things called video CDs, the small ones, and then it went to DVD. Under the counter bids. Oh, we all remember them. As a schoolboy, you always used to go in and see what you added under the counter. First VHS adventure was Quadrophenia, Jungle Nuts. Quadrophenia. Oh, there we go. Lethal Weapon 1, classic film. I was only talking to my daughter about that last week because I saw the box set with all of them. That's an absolutely brilliant film. Paul is a massive Star Wars fan. That's because he has to put his stormtrooper outfit on Terry to stop you hitting him. I haven't known satellite dish. Yeah, we had satellite quite early. Those were the days before it got expensive because the Sky channels were free, even Sky 1 was. But then they brought out this program called The Simpsons and they thought, we want to charge people this, so then it became part of the subscription package. So back then, you see, another thing, but then we had the cards where we got it for free, so I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. And they brought out a card called the Season 7 card, which was a long time ago now, but the Season 7 card, there's a story to why it was called the Season 7 card, because that's when Sky 1 went encrypted around the Simpsons time. Well, there was a German lad who used to like watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, I think it was, and he used to watch it on Sky, but then they made it subscription. Well, he couldn't get it then, as he sat in Germany, so he made it his college project to actually design a card to hack the Sky system. And because he needed to do it before Season 7 started of Star Trek, it became the Season 7 hack. Worked for about 9 or 10 months, fingerprint update and everything. So there we go, the Season 7 card was done purely for someone's college course, and he actually got a distinction in it. They were absolutely amazed of it. So it just shows you the lengths people will go to watch something. Evening, Graham. Still got about 100 VHS films. I used to be a bit of a collector of VHS films, and I had a whole room full of them, like a video library. And I think there was just shy of 1,400 films in there, because I used to get them cheap, and I found a video library or rental place that was closing, and I bought the whole lot of them. And I think in the end, I took most of them to a car boot sale, and I was just giving them away because they were worth nothing. I used to buy and sell a lot, and I used to put them on eBay. And I used to make good money buying them from the car boot sales for 50p. Some of them I was getting £100 a time for. You know, if the things were rare, you can get good money for them. And the one that used to make good money was, the older folk will remember this. Do you remember one called Jungle Burger? That made money. You could, if you could get one of them, you was minimum 50 quid for it. Skippy. Star Trek Underpants. God, when that man's gone before. 8-track tapes back in the day. Do you remember 4 tracks? I don't know. 8 tracks, yes, because there was one in the car I was working on this week. Classic car. I think he'd got his Elvis sitting on the seat. Schwaddy, I think there was some unusual stuff. Way before my time. Way before my time. Take it easy, Sarge. So there we go. Right, I think we're about done. We'll be gone for over an hour, and to be honest, it didn't go well, did it really? For some reason, it decided it wasn't going to play, so next time I'll get it on my computer and we'll do it that way. But we will return for part 2 of the public information, common sense videos, because there's some cracking ones out there. And we've got another one lined up as well, which is going to make you feel old as well. So, but I'll get all that on my computer so we don't run into this problem again. But all I can say is thank you all for joining. We are back out at the weekend. We're going back to a place we haven't been for about 18 months. We are meeting up with a few people. It's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, so be careful driving there. Make sure you wrap up well and take it easy and just have a fun weekend. And I'll go live Sunday afternoon, let you know how we're getting on. But thank you all for joining, really appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat earlier on. Anything from that bloody Brilliant Arm? Oh, I've had so much stuff from there. Oh, I've had amazing stuff from there. I've got about 6 videos on here from that bridge. Yeah, go back and have a look. There's been some really good stuff out of there. You're going to have to work at it though, and you're going to need a good magnet, because I've probably spent 70 hours down there and every time it's pulled. But thank you all for joining. Don't forget, premiere at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, part 2 of the Warwick trip, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks very much.